Something here is too bright, and I don't know what it is. And I also forgot to start subtitles, so I guess I need to go fix that. Hold on. Okay, we should be good now, I think. Alright, perfect. So, okay, perfect. So, well, first of all, it is Wednesday, right? Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope the day was restful. I didn't say happy birthday. I said happy Wednesday. But happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope the day was restful and or productive for y'all. My hands are just cold all the time. And lately when I have been sitting at my computer at night, I've just been like, I'm just cold. So aside from wearing socks, I have just decided that I'm just going to wear a comforter and sit and sit in it and keep myself wrapped in that when I'm not typing or whatever. Because, damn it, I'm tired of that. But, hey everybody from CJ's stream, thank you for coming on by. Deeply appreciate it. I know that some Kingdom Hearts 2 was going on. I also know that one of the bosses was being like an absolute jackass, so I am hoping that like game dev vibes help take some of the sting out of that. Got a lock on shipment they're sending me, so I can't. Sorry to hear that, Vallejo. But also, hi Kettle. Hi Charlotte. Slightly just adjust the light. I think the lighting is just a little messed up on the ring light, so I'm gonna adjust that down a little bit, so I'm not like blowing out that. Why did you shut off? I was trying to like. That's too bright. Take it down a couple notches, Chief. Switch it to this little red light. Then we go. I want to be warm, but eating the blanket is a hassle. Yeah. Doing any kind of programming is about to be very interesting. I do not know how long we're going to go for tonight. We may not pull the full 3 hours. I will try. But... not a guarantee. A thing that I've been learning... But yeah, like we'll see if I can pull off the full 3 hours. But a thing that I've been trying to be a little bit more graceful with myself about is just the fact that it's like there are some days where I do not have the ability to give like X amount of hours to the thing. I will put in as many good ones as I can and then stop. Because the alternative is that if I push too hard and I start writing crud, that's crud I have to fix later. And that's not helpful for anybody. So let me log my starting time before we switch back over to... I'm going to log my starting time before switching back over to that stuff. So yeah, we'll see if I make it to 9. We'll see if I make it to 9 o'clock tonight. I may make it to like 8 ish. We'll see. Um, but yeah, I'm not trying to push super hard on that because one of the things I am trying to be more graceful with myself about is like how many things I can actually reasonably get done in a day. And sometimes just going like, yeah, right now my brain is just not with it. And not getting upset and trying to push harder than I should be to just push through it. Because, no, that's not good for your brain. Don't do that. Don't do that. Really don't. So, let's see here. I'm here for SJ streams, however long that is. Thank you, Kettle. I appreciate it. So, the major thing that I have been working on in the time in between, streams was mostly just, and I should probably go. Let me go grab an image and go put it in here real quick. I just have to switch off of this main one because I gotta go digging through some files that y'all shouldn't be seeing, so I need to like I gotta go grab that real quick and export it and put it in the right spot. I didn't even look into how to do like 9 sliced. This is gonna be interesting. All right. I do have a question before I go either. When is the best time to work on menus and other UI stuff as opposed to core game mechanics? The way that I do it, this is not necessarily obviously like a hard and fast thing. This is more or less just like the way that I personally choose to sort of handle this sort of thing is mostly that I only work on like sort of the next step of a UI iteration once I have hit a point where whatever I currently have for the UI is interfering with the readability in some aspect. That's more or less how I handle it. So once I have hit the situation where it's like, yeah, oops, I clicked the link and forgot to unmute many. Many what? Also, hi, Shark. That makes sense. I tend to want to start with menus and it's just too much when it comes to gameplay since there's a much menu. Yeah. Many oops lulls. A plethora of okay. Oh right, that's the one you mean. Right. I was like for half a second I was like, it uses the forbidden word in there, but I'm like, oh, you mean a recitas? Okay, that's fair. Because I was like, hold on, Shark said what? It's like, oh no, you mean recitas? Okay, that's fair. I was like, I just have to go like, but okay, I get what you mean. That makes sense. I tend to want to start with menus and stress too much when it comes to gameplay since it doesn't match the menus. Yeah, like my general design philosophy, just like and this is for anybody else who hasn't heard this before, right? My general design philosophy when it comes to making games is very much you can always make the game look pretty later. Um, if it looks ugly at first, then that's fine. You can always do pretty later. The thing that's more important than your game looking pretty initially is does it work or not. And so, as a rule, that usually means that, and this is probably because I mostly focus on like programming and stuff. I know that y'all can't see like any of the stuff yet. That's because I'm busy trying to remember to grab the thing that I wanted and putting it in the spot so we can get started. But yeah, my main thing in particular is that my rule is very transparently that if your game if you spend too much time worrying about like making it pretty before you make it functional, then you've done it backwards. That's my personal design philosophy. That does not necessarily mean that it is the correct design philosophy, but my personal one is if you are too worried about your game being pretty when you don't even have a character that can like walk around yet, you're doing it backwards. Because it doesn't really matter if your game is pretty if it's a game. You have to be able to play it. How that definition kind of like shakes out for you is something very different. It's very different from person to person, and I'm not going to say that like my way of doing it is the best way of doing it. But as a rule, personally, I'm like, I really don't care how pretty your game is. If you show me something like very pretty and technically designed, if I play it and I'm not feeling anything from it because you spent too much time making it look good, especially in the early stages, then to me, that is a thing that you have done backwards. Obviously, this is different for different people, but like my menus can look kind of like hot, whatever. But if the rest of the gameplay works correctly, then I can afford to refine the design of the menus and should refine the design of the menus and stuff much further on. But no, if all I got is like black text on like white backgrounds and junk, then that's fine, right? Getting too immediately fixated, and I'm not saying this as just like a general thing, right? Let me switch over to this now. Getting too fixated on the design of a menu as like a general thing when you have literally just started putting it together, that gets you messed up. That's literally the last thing to worry about, or like the second to last thing to worry about, however you want to put it. Yeah, design scope gets me every time. Hold on, I need to do a thing. Godot 9 slice. Right. Okay, so I need to replace that. So which type is that not? Yeah, design. Yeah, no. Like overscoping is definitely a thing that just like it's hard to get correct. And it can in fact be an absolute pain in the neck to get correct. So I feel that. So it is very easy to like kind of like push too hard on that by accident, but okay, hold on. Going to look to eat. All right, Kettle. See you when you get back. It needs to lead the line first, ideally. Okay, so I don't quite have correct, I don't think. I think I know some of the games I've been playing that I didn't mean to share with y'all for a bit, but I keep forgetting on the subject of. So this is 30, 30, 30, 30. Okay, good. Here we can... So the thing that I'm doing here is that I'm making basically a basic template for... I'm making a basic template for the menus that I want to make, so that I can just duplicate it, update some stuff, and then have it do what it needs to do, and we're all Gucci, basically. That's the plan. Excuse me. What does it change to? I said I messed it up. So, feel free to expound on that if you want, Stubby. I'm just sitting here trying to like knock this around properly. So this is a 9 patch. So this 9 patch rec thing that I'm doing it so I can properly like, I can basically set up a better looking window for each of these things and have it like look correct. 30, 30, 30, and much better. Button. This button window. Load. For now, I'm using the same thing that I would use for the dialog box just to make it a little easier. Then we're gonna change the type to 9 patch. And here we're gonna do patch margin 30s. Should square it away, and yeah, looking good. So for now, this should hold. Now, I don't think it would have, yeah, it wouldn't have propagated over to the audio menu because of the way that I had this set up. So I have to like manually redo this one, but for the next ones, it should be a little easier. Change type, I need 9 patch. This one. 9 patch for this one. This is button window. There's also type 9 patch. That album done. Should do now. So we're gonna load dialog box. do 30, 30, 30, 30. That squares that away. Quick load. Yeah, so for right now, I'm just using the same texture that I would use for the dialog boxes to sort of make up each of these windows. Oh, hell. Oh. I was like, why is it doing that? It's like, because I wasn't paying attention to how fast I was typing. I put in 303 for one of those. It's like, all right, that's really weird. So, quick load. Yeah, so now, right, we at least have this done up in a very nice and relatively pleasing way. And now these menus look at least like they're not going to be super complex and super complicated. Don't really need them to be. Margin, for the margin containers, you actually want like 30 on each side to like feel correct. Good. So, like the main thing that I was doing off stream as far as Shoot Lancer was concerned was mostly just like figuring out how to lay out the menus. Specifically the menus for like gameplay options, audio options, etc. Right? So yeah, I've mostly just been kind of like working out the actual like layout design of the menus. If you've seen any of the footage from Viral Core Busters or Ulks when we were still using Unity, the general layout hasn't changed for right now because I like that particular style of menu. I imagine that if any of my co-collaborators at Unity are like, yeah, well, maybe can we consider this? This might look a little better, then I'm obviously fine with changing it. It's just one of those things where, at least for right now, I'm just kind of like laying it out in a way that will just kind of work for now. And then when I need to redo it, we do it, which is admittedly admittedly, I might be making future work for future me down the road, but you know, for right now, shrug emoji. We'll see if that is the case or not. Oh no, that's not what we need. Past SJ giving future SJ. Yeah, probably. Don't be mean. Fair enough. So yeah, now the main thing that I'm sitting here trying to figure out is mostly the logistics, so to speak, of well, for now, let me come over here. Let's see. So we want export slider. Yeah, and this shouldn't be a state machine. This is just handling each of those. Over here. All right, so let me just that. Okay, good. Got those. Now good though. Use sliders to all volume. Okay, logarithmic scale. That's what we want. So we're gonna have to correctly. Okay, that's what I thought. The sliders are going to need to basically be 0 to 1 on a 0.05 step. Okay, got it. Okay, so 0 to 1, 0.05. Zero to 1, 0.5. Oh, it said 0.05, right? So here's the idea behind what we're doing right now. Ideally speaking, these sliders need to be set up in such a way that, as this article that y'all just saw describes, we want to make sure that we working we're working with logarithmically, right? As far as like audio sliders go. So we want 0 to 1 at a step of 0.05, and then we're going to use stuff in the script to force it to like we want the slider to make sure that it like properly does a couple other things. So we just have to set them up correctly first, which we have now. I prefer to not name the bus that, but I don't have a choice. I can't rename it. All right. So this is written in GD script, which means I have to figure out how to do this correctly. So let's see. Okay, hold on a second. Hang on a second. Hint. All bus value. And switch devices like I said I was going to. Y plus 1. Okay, so those are set. value. Maybe that. Oh, all volume slider. That. Right, and whenever we enter this state. Okay. Well, hold on. We're not gonna. Right, we're gonna do that stuff, but here's what we're also going to do. Hold on. Hmm. Okay, it's audio server. Okay. Don't match the whole word. Okay, it's mathf. That's what it's living. Okay, so math. Right? Okay, no. It has to be dB to linear. And then linear to dB when we're doing it. So dB to linear, and we're gonna do I'm gonna explain what this is in a minute. I just have to. I'm gonna explain what I'm doing in a second here. Just gotta like actually get the code down. Hi, Cal. I thank you, Cal. That's my response. It's like, 'cause if I fight, I'm. I'd fight, but I'd lose. So I'm just gonna hold that. Okay. So I don't expect these to work entirely correctly yet. I entirely expect something to actually like blow up. In fact, because I haven't gotten the thing to like actually open these menus yet. But okay, debugger yelling because I forgot to set the parent visibility node, which makes sense because I didn't have that set up yet. But hopefully you're doing well, Cal. Good to see. Like on a more serious note, good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. Um, Got to build this, didn't I? All right, probably because the other stuff isn't working yet. So I'm gonna take this option submenu audio. Add a child node for control, and then or rather, all that. We can add another node here. Add child node, and we're just gonna do submenus, and now we're gonna try to see audio option submenu audio. We're gonna see that one's here. That's your state machine. Actually, wait. I can literally just actually put it in here instead of overthinking it. Now with the node, this can be that. Okay. Only put state nodes as children of right. So take this one, just get rid of those, and just do this. Okay. Silly me, I forgot to do this. So I appreciate you. Take the W and the love. How goes the coding today? Any? God damn it! I had focus face on for half a minute and I just only looked over. To answer your question properly, now that I'm not in like full focus space mode, um, semicolons aren't giving me a lot of shit. It's mostly just shenanigans with whatever is going on over here. States equals. Oh, right. Keep forgetting that I should be doing it like this. That's why it's giving me trouble. All right. Okay, now we're down to 2. Better. Parent visibility node is. Okay. No. Okay. Yeah, mostly it's just a question of getting like the options menu to like stop acting up now. That's where we're at right now. Mostly I laid out the options menu. The only hard part is like getting it to like stop being a complete pile of aggravation right now. Oh, state machine, states. Yeah, why is the parent visibility node set to no? You big goofus, why is it being set to no? If I can figure out that problem, then this is pretty much resolved. But for whatever reason, it is choosing to be very difficult on that front. So it's not, yeah. Hold on. Public. this. Build this. But okay, because I was like, I'm not sure if Cal heard the thing because there's a very good chance that my frantic mumbling and like mental scrunching may have made it so that he didn't hear. So I had to just stop and go like, no, let me actively make sure I acknowledge this. Okay, we're almost there. One more thing. Go to Opon OST. Things nice and simple. Okay. So that's not gonna work. Again, the Red Bull and the clams. What are you trying to say? Energy drink the world runs on lesbians? Alright, the options menu shouldn't have a... No, that's not the way that should work. I'm so silly. That's not the way that should work at all. The options menu doesn't need to have its own state machine. That's... Well, it does, but not in... It does actually need to have its own state machine, but I gotta think about that. I might have maybe messed this up a little bit. I may have to reconsider this. because this is what happens when you program on the fly. Sometimes you forget about the things that got laid out, and it's a little easy to kind of like mess up what you're thinking about. The options menu should be its own state in the statement. Right. I'm gonna have to slightly adjust how I think about these things. So this has its own state here. So this is okay. The hard part is that this one error that I'm getting, I do not know what is causing it. Or rather, I have a guess. Alright. Time to do some slightly ill-advised things and see if this is what's causing the actual problem. If it is, as annoying as that is... Okay. Okay, so it's not that. It's something else. Unable to cast audio member to... So wait, but why is it casting it, though? That's the... What? Why would it be casting it, though? I didn't... Okay, so that... That's annoying. Okay. All right. Okay. So here's what I'm trying to do to explain this very basically. I'm trying to get the state machine set up for the options menu so that when we start things off, this menu hides itself. We press the audio button and this menu pops up. That's all I'm really trying to do right now. But for whatever reason, simply trying to export a control node so that I actually have the ability to like actively show and hide a node for whatever reason. Okay, that's fine, actually. So it can be exported and that works. Now the problem, for whatever reason, is... Hang on, let me come back over to this thing. This should be a control node, right? Okay, I assigned the control node over there. Cool. The options menu. Okay, cool. Oh, wait. Is it because... Pause. Unable to cast object type options submenu audio member to Godot control. Okay. Is it because it's mistaking the root as the... I have a thought that might make this work, and it's going to be silly. This might be the only way to get this to work. This is not a state. It's just... Hold on. Over here. Hang on. I'm trying to think about the logistics about how to handle this, because the main issue that we're going to run into is... Okay, so... Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Then we're gonna clear that one, and then this has to be it. So all volume slider, that one, music volume slider is this one, effects this one. Okay, we're gonna have to come over here. All right. This might work, this might not work. Let's give it a shot. Okay. So it was that. Cool. And now I think I should be able to undo all that stuff, save, build, and... Okay. Excellent. All right. That took a lot of shenaniganry, but we figured it out. So the TLDR about why I had to do all that stuff. This is basically the simplest way that I can explain it. In order for the option submenu to work correctly, right? Because of the way that I set up the way that state machines are supposed to work as far as this is concerned, right? Whatever node holds the code for the state has to be just a regular node. Everything else can then go under it, which I had to sort of like sit down and I didn't realize it. So I need to go to options, sub menu, template, and I'm gonna have to do a couple of things to make sure that it all, well, I already handled the windows, which is good. I just need to add a node and then make that node the scene root, and we'll go, what did I call it over here? The visibility node. And then we're just gonna do options submenu template. That still stays the same. Now the main thing, right, with the options menu is very straightforward. Right, so as y'all can see, as y'all can see, right, the options menu is its own thing up here. And then each of the individual submenus are going to be nested under these states. And the idea is that when we are ready to kick off a state, we just have it open and do the thing, right? Now, in the options menu state, there are a couple different ways that we can handle this, right? So, options menu state, audio options. There are a couple different ways that we can handle this and try to figure this out. Because the main thing that we are sort of going to have to deal with at this point is just how do we dictate what switches to what, and so on and so forth. So over here, we're going to do a new script. We're going to call it options menu state. And it's going to inherit state because it is one, as opposed to like it's not a menu state, it's just a state. So and then we can do the export button. I'm just going to keep it very simple. Right now, we're just going to do that. We're going to do base.ready. And then before we do base.ready, we're going to do audio options button dot we're just going to do this, and either I may have broken something horribly, or I might not have. Let's find out. Cool, nothing there. So really, we can also just come over here and like manually set up signals. Ah. Or wait, pause. Before I do that, I realize I didn't change the script. I didn't change the script. So I'm like, it's not working, but I never changed the script. So before I say that it doesn't work, I should do that and make sure that this works. Before I say it doesn't work, that's the thing that I should do and make sure that I'm absolutely sure about that. Um, all right, cool. All right, so we are mostly working on that front. Um, so obviously, we are not necessarily in the position where in so it mostly works, right? Like I can come over here, I can hit audio options, and the sliders are set to the right values and all that, which is great. Um, Obviously, I can't like hit go back and make it like actually go back to the previous menu yet, but it does do the things that it needs to do, which is pretty good. So in the menu state, though, we know that our menu states are going to have like go back buttons and things like that. So, well, I should probably class this as options submenu state. Well, for various reasons, I could do that, but let me just kind of like stick to things that I know. Because, like, basically speaking, there's a danger in what we call doing inheritance, where you start making subclasses of subclasses of subclasses to handle specific things. And to a certain extent, that can cause an issue where, like, you basically subclass your way 3 levels down and you're like, I don't remember what belongs to what anymore. God shit, right? So that is the risk I'm technically running here. But it's basically like a two-folded thing, right? Either I assume that all menu states are going to have like a go back button somewhere, which is not unreasonable to assume, right? Because think of it like this, right? If you want to talk about sort of like the taxonomy of states in a state machine, because we want to be able to also say things like, yeah, menu states are also an example, like being in a menu state is also an example of this, of like being in a state, right? So the main rub here, right, is a menu state. You know what? I'm just going to do the thing. I'm going to just do the thing because it's going to bug me if I choose to not do the thing. And that is worse than anything else. And now here, we're just going to do options menu state, and we're going to derive that from menu state, right? So we don't need either of those, but we are going to need and we don't need any of those. We don't need any of these right now. Now that we've done this, right, we can now do yeah, the only thing is that I unfortunately cannot rename some of these buttons, so I have to be very much to my annoyance because of something about the way that the inheritance works with the nodes. I can't change that, so I have to hold that. So all of these say my button, but they're all pointing at different buttons. I promise. I can't change it because of the way that the button is, because the way that I set up certain things, which is a little bit of a pain. I don't like it, but I have to live with it whether I like it or not. I don't have a better way of I can't think of a better way of setting it up without that doesn't involve like me having to do a bunch of stuff over and over and over again, and I really don't want to have to do that if I can help it. Okay. And now here I can do, hang on. I need to go to the option submenu state. Right, these need to be protected. So they can be handled by they can be handled and accessed by other buttons, by other scripts over there, and we should be okay. So back button dot button down state machine dot code. I don't know why the state machine doesn't have a definition for go to previous state, but I should go fix that. Hang on. There we go. Go back button down should do that. All right. Moment of truth. Not the one I wanted to do. We're there. Excellent. Now all I really need to do is just like actually wire up the I just have to wire up the sliders to actually make a couple of important changes, so I will do that. Here we're going to go to node. We're going to do on all vol slider. And then up here, we're going to do public void on all vol slider changed. We're going to do all volume slider dot. Nope, other way around. It's audio server dot set bus volume dB math f dot linear to dB all volume slider dot value. I think, right? I might have botched that. Hold on. Audio server set bus volume dB. I forgot the actual bus. So all vol bus value. I gotta convert that. Hold on. All right. There we go. And we're gonna do public void on use thick vol slider changed, and do the same thing except for the music volume. Public void on SFX vol slider changed. So basically what we're doing here and why we have to have this code written out like this is because so the way that volume measurement works when you're using decibels is I said this earlier, but volume measurements work on what's called a logarithmic scale, right? So the idea with a logarithmic scale is that when you have reached, or at least as far as like let me phrase that differently. As it applies to decibels, when you are at 0 decibels, then you are at normal volume, right? 0 decibels is not mute. 0 decibels is normal volume. Anything negative under that drives the volume down. Anything positive above that drives the volume up past the normal level. So 0 dB, so 0 decibels, 0 dB is considered the baseline value. So in order for this math to work correctly, we have to actually set, when we do I have to switch this, make sure I'm setting it to the right. Make sure I'm setting it to the right buses. So all volume bus value. So the idea here is that I'm taking, but the sliders themselves, right, are being measured in linear values, whereas when you're measuring in decibels, you're working with logarithmic values. So the idea behind the conversion that's happening here is that when I'm set, right, when the slider value changes, right, I am taking the current value of the slider for whatever slider is changing, which is currently linear, and then converting it into a logarithmic value for the actual audio bus, so it does it in decibels properly. Otherwise, there are shenanigans, just they don't work right. It's the simplest way to put it. a music vol slider changed. I gotta be. The hard thing about doing this right is making sure I get the script, is making sure I get the names correctly. I could also just connect these signals at the start without having to like go through all of this. So that's good. So ideally, what this should do, right, is now allow me to like actually get some other is like get things set up properly and accordingly. And now the title screen itself can also have a state machine. So if I come over here, let's see. I just take a state machine base, right? I make sure that I can edit the children. And then we add child node. This is just going to be title screen state. I go to the options menu. I have to reparent the options menu under a I think I do anyway, because if I try to do it as it might work if I try to just let's see. I'm pretty sure it's gonna break and I'm gonna have to reparent it whether I like it or not. But let me at least no, I'll split the difference. So we'll go to the title screen. I'm just gonna put another regular node here. I'm gonna do options menu state. Or rather, so let's see. So title screen state machine, because that's what this is. Title screen options state. There we go. What we're gonna do here is export button, options menu button, and I'm just gonna do a quick and dirty thing here and just do base.ready. And options menu button dot on dot down. We're just gonna manually assign to it plus equals. We're just gonna stick the state machine dot state. Build it. So we're going to auto start the state machine, make sure that it starts in title screen state, right? And the title screen state itself, we want to make sure that the state machine that we assign, title screen state machine, and then options menu button. All right, here we go. All right, almost works, but not quite. Oh, right. We now need to do something over here. So title screen. This is options menu state. We'll duplicate it. We're gonna do oh wait. I'm so silly. I already did that. I'm so silly. I already did that. Literally all I have to do is come over here, change this, and do options menu state. Literally. Okay, hold on. Yank that one. Don't need it. All right. So build. Okay. Yep. No build failures. All right. Let's try it. Okay. Only thing is that this. Almost there, but not quite. Hold on. That's why. Didn't spell that correctly. Alright. Excellent. That works. Okay, perfect though. Just about perfect anyway. The title screen state, I'm gonna do... Hang on. We're just gonna do export control title container. Very simple. Title container dot visible equals false. And then when we enter, so public override on Yep. Okay. Cool. So now whenever we start, so whenever we leave it, we should make the previous menu invisible and then make the current one visible. So still won't fix everything because we have to then make sure that the first I forgot to make sure title container is actually set. This thing over here. You notice the title container also contains the options, but the actual menu for like setting up the options stuff. It's on purpose. So now, good. And when I hit previous menu, obviously I should like jump. I should jump back and do that. Now, just the main thing is that I need to like do that. So, well, the other thing I need to do is make sure that the first selected option is export button gameplay options button. And then obviously I am going to need an export button menu button. And then the button down is going to be so the nice thing about so the thing is that technically speaking, I have two the thing is that technically speaking, with the way that the setup is working, I have two separate state machines running, right? One is the state machine for the title screen, and the other is the state machine within the options menu that controls the sub options. So the nice thing is that when I do options menu state and I refer to that state machine, I'm talking about the one level up. So I don't have to worry about the two state machines if I'm careful anyway. I should not have to worry about the two state machines like running into and over each other as long as I'm not like careless about how I set it up. right? So ideally, oh right, I need to. All right, got that. I forgot about how to do the focus stuff, didn't I? Poop. Ah, that's what it is. Release focus. Okay, so let me see here. Oh, that's also another thing I'm gonna have to do, huh? I have to, at some point, I need to offload some of these things, right? From this. Or rather, what I should do is public void on option button. All right, so yeah, there are a couple things I need to like offload here-ish somehow. So options, menu, state. Hang on. Godot release focus. Okay, so hang on. That's for that. So okay. So the good news is that it looks like oh, I never set that probably. Hang on. All right, that has to be the thing up there. So hold on. Title screen. Hold on. So we're gonna grab this one. Do it over here. Gameplay options button is this one, obviously. Previous menu button is obviously this one. Current visibility node is still turned off at the moment because, well, I guess it's technically this one if we really have to get into it. All right. All right. Let's see if that fixed it. It may. Okay, yeah, not quite. Almost, but not quite there. Previous menu. Damn. I just need to. It would do. Okay, there we go. Okay, good, 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 good. Then, right, and then in title screen state, we want. Yeah, some of these some of these functions that you see happening over here, I probably need to offload to the title screen. I could literally just do that right now. I'm sitting here mumbling that and thinking my way through that. I can literally just do that right now. So using system, using static system, using static gd crypto.gd. Take that for stuff. Yeah, I literally can just do literally all of this. I can just do it. Why did I not? Sometimes I don't think about these things until they kind of hit me right in the face. Then I feel a type of way about it. I'm literally sitting here going like, dang, where's all this gonna go? Sometimes I just don't think about these things, and it does make me a little sad when my brain is not doing the thing correctly. But you know. So start button dot button down plus on start button rest. Could handle that. Quit. So quit button dot button down. Let's go. Okay, so I'm not going to delete this code yet in case I wind up needing it for something. Title node, I'm going to... Of course, hang on. Title node. Leave that. Title node should not be responsible for that anymore now that we have this thing. Bugger, which one? Oh, right, I need to set up all the button references now. Screen state, start button, options button, quit button, and then screen transition rect. All right. Yeah. So, where's that other error coming from? Yeah, those things don't agree. One of those two that's causing this error. It's fake because it still works. Well, it's maybe not fake, but for whatever reason, the error is not. Okay, there we go. We should, I think. Vote. Vote. Okay, good. So yeah, we're almost there, but not quite. We have to. I have to very carefully pick through some of this. Ah. There we go. That should also handle that. Yep. So only one more error left now to try to figure out how to squash. Okay. I'm just trying a thing real quick. Shh. Okay, so let me come back over to here. This. Okay, ambiguous. So let's see, change state. We're gonna do. All right. I just need this to stop giving me the one error, and we should be good. Ah. So we do run into one issue. We do run into just one issue then. All right. And this is the one thing I was worried about, where if the two state machines wind up clashing, we get this situation. So ideally speaking, probably the way that I get around this is by actively registering the... I think I know how to get around this. Theoretically, I know how to get around this. Theoretically, I get around this by registering. If I go to the title screen, right, I basically have to register all of the states that belong, even if like the options menu and stuff, I have to re-register those under the title screen state machine, as opposed to like having the options menu have its own state machine, which is doable, really. All I really have to do is kind of like this. Because the like if I take out the options menu state machine, right, or at least if I turn off the script for it, which I think I'm going to do rather than just like getting rid of the whole thing. I'm going to take this, going to clear that out, and here's what we're going to do. It means that I do have to build it sort of like more organically, quote unquote, but or I have to build it a little more separately, but that's sort of the way I should have been doing it anyway. So I think the options menu state should still be relatively, it should be relatively intact. So I'm going to take this state machine and I'm gonna yeet it. And basically what I need to do is I have to, on the title screen, I have to build this state, I have to build this more organically, basically. We have this. So inside of this is still the options menu. Inside of this one now, right? So I make another node. Should be able to do titles. Something like that, right? And if I'm careful now, I should be able... Because basically speaking, the way that I have to handle this is that I have to basically make it so that each of these individual things is a... And I have to make sure that these all belong to the title screen state machine. I'm pretty sure I probably broke at least one thing just now trying to reorganize it. But this is ideally the way I should have done it. Yep. Alright, what broke? Hold on. I don't know why that broke, because that shouldn't have broken. Anyway, hold on. Gotta do some shenanigans real quick. Because for some reason, the change state function that I had broke, which is annoying. Hey Malleable, how you doing? Hopefully well. Good to see you. So this is target state. Straight up just state we're trying to change to. Good. Whereas this one is okay, good. Alright. Build it again just to make sure that none of that broke. Alright, try this again. Doing okay and just Mal is fine. What genre? It is a... showing you is easier. It is a side-scrolling shmup. So think something closer to like Gradius or not Defender. But like if you think something like Gradius, for example, it's pretty much exactly the one that's going on. Let's change the firing speed of shots. I'm gonna have to fix the rest of that because it looks like I broke something at some point along the way with the... Yep, I broke something there at some point, but that's a thing to fix later. Mostly right now, I'm just working on some menuing stuff. Options. Yeah, audio options doesn't work yet because I have to reconfigure how that all works. So that's what I thought. We're just gonna do... Because functionally speaking, this is basically what that is. So I'm going to grab this, come over here. So let's see. Or... yeah, that's basically what that is. So that should handle that. Fiddling with RPG Maker myself, mostly just figuring out the programs, some of the plugins I know I'm going to use. Which version? Alright. Oh, MZ? Hmm. $39. All volume slider music. So some of those didn't work correctly, did it? I'll have to figure that out a little bit later. But the main thing is that the buttons that I want it to set in on are doing the correct thing. So all volume slider dot grab focus start. So I know that not all of the menu stuff is going to work right away, but good. We're back. Previous menu. Yeah, that's what I thought. So it's going to loop for a while now because I have to like actually get it to like kick. I have to get it to like kick back up, which means I want it to kind of jump up one level as opposed to going All right. there's probably an easy way in the state machine to handle this. So we go. Gonna do public void Okay, so we're gonna just do a regular for loop here. So for int I is less than states dot count. If states I there we go. So over here in the options menu state, we'll do, instead of this one, we're going to do state machine dot set state, dang it, state machine dot change state grandparent state, and that should fix that because it should step one up and kick us back up to whatever the state above, whatever the state listed above it is. So that should make that a little easier. Options, previous menu, yep, audio, go back, previous menu. Yes! All right. We'll have to figure out what's going on with the sliders in a little bit. It's something where I probably messed up the way that some of this is getting set up, which is annoying, but I can deal with it at some other point. I'm probably about at the limit of my reasonably good coding strength right now. But as you can see, we can go into, so like adjusting the sliders doesn't do anything yet because we're having an error there. So there's something that I did wrong in terms of like actually getting those to set correctly, but this basically works out the way that we want. So I can get rid of this script because I don't think I need it anymore. But this title screen script, I do not need it. I don't strictly need it anymore. I don't think so. Let me check title screen.cs. Okay, no owners, which means I should be able to get rid of it without everything going straight to hell. Because now a lot of that functionality that was in that title screen script has been put into the title screen state machine. So title screen state is already handling all of that pretty much. So all that's set, all that's set. The only thing I need to figure out is getting these sliders to like. Oh. probably botched something with the other calls. Hold on. Let's just do it like this. Let's remove these signals. I'm going to see if I have a way of doing it via code. Because if I had to bet anything, it would be that it's specifically the way that I was trying to get them to like set the volume is what's causing the problem. Yep. But now there's no connection to them either, which means that I need to just basically arrange a different way to get those linked up, which is not impossible. I just need to think this through a little bit. So all volume slider dot value hang on, show potential. Okay, that doesn't do it. Okay. Let me go back and try something real quick. So I'm gonna save this. I need to I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna try this one more time actually. So we're gonna go back over to the options submenu for the audio. We're gonna come over to here. All right. I'm gonna try this real quick. And I'm gonna see if I can get this to work. But yeah, wrong menu to test. But yeah, Mal, that's good to hear. I wanted to use RPG Maker Unite at one point before Unity decided to become exceedingly silly about the way that they wanted to handle certain things. But yeah, MZ is also pretty mature, so you should have a pretty good. You should get pretty good return on that, especially because you've got like all of like the Onfly engine basically to work with, if I remember correctly. If you have those, if those are the plugins that you're gonna choose to use. Victory! We've done it. We figured out I realized that I had the program, the music playing this whole time from like the background music. So none of these changes will save. Um, None of these changes will save yet because I don't have like a system for like saving and loading in the stuff that we're doing. But that's fine because float use vol slider value float sfx vol slider value. Now all we really have to do is do this and then this. Cool. Now I just have to come over to the, I don't need this thing open. I don't need the submenu template open either. I just need the music volume. Just got to connect. Hang on. Got to rebuild it to make sure that it actually takes in those. So music slider, pick, music slider, connect. Good. SFX slider here. Now that I know that I can do this, this makes my life so much easier. Thank goodness. All right. Okay, cool. And now I can just add audio. Very cool. Here, inspector. Um, okay, I'm just gonna call this test. Over here, we're just gonna do X slider get node audio stream there test dot play. We're gonna jump back over to the title screen, run it. There we go. Hey, base. But yeah, so none of the audio settings will actually save if I try to save them right now, but that's fine because the thing I really wanted to do was to be able to make sure that I knew or could navigate cleanly into and out of this menu. That's pretty much literally all I had planned for today, to navigate into this menu and out of this menu and back to the title. Everything else I can kind of like figure out some other way, but yeah, the important thing is being able to navigate into the menu and out of it. And that we can do, which personally I'm happy about. So like like language options and remapping controls and all that doesn't work yet because I have to figure all of that out at some other point. But the basic reason I wanted to at least get this handled is mostly because at some point, right, making sure that I have a handle of how state machines will need to work here is really, really, really critical. And menus, right? Mostly because like I wanted to make sure that I figured out um flow of how state machines work with this setup that I now have in Godot. I sort of had an inkling of it with I sort of had an inkling of it when I was doing some of the tutorial stuff after I converted it. But um now that I'm like reasonably certain, it's like, okay, yeah, I got it. Cool, baller, I feel it out. But also, yeah, hi base. Hopefully you're doing well. So this is basically near the end of stream functionally, because like I didn't like putting together like the gameplay menu and wiring up all the gameplay stuff. Nope. Not worrying about that stuff for gameplay options yet. I do want audio options at least set and set aside so I can start thinking about like, okay, right, localizing is down the line. But thankfully with Godot, localization is supposed to be relatively more straightforward than Unity. I don't think I'm going to have to write like an entire localization system for a lot of Godot's buttons and stuff. Like I had to for Unity. That was a whole thing. And I don't ever want to do that again. Oh my god. But I want to just for me the important part is getting a lot of like backbone stuff set up, right? So even though we can't save the values yet for these sliders, right? In terms of like, oh yeah, what is the audio for this thing? Like we can't set that up yet, but we now at least have the ability, right, to control that actively, even if it doesn't save for the current gameplay session yet. That's file input and output, and I'm not dealing with that yet. That's a future me problem. The main thing that I wanted was just to be able to say I can get into a menu and get out of a menu without everything exploding and going to hell. And that is really important. And I have that functionality now. So it basically works. The only thing is that at some point, somehow, I broke the rest of the tutorial and I don't know how. I'll try it one last time just to see if I can figure out what is broken. I probably just like messed up and didn't consider there's probably something else I just didn't consider. So running the tutorial 3. Okay. All right, I forgot to spin. That's why. I was like, I broke something, and it's like you're supposed to spin. Kettle had asked way earlier, hey, so SJ, when do you know when you need to work on more HUD stuff? Whenever you run into a point where you're like, oh right, that's the thing I was supposed to do, and I completely forgot, like I just did, where it's like, right, I set this up so that you have to do the spin and get rid of the enemy in order to do that. Which means at some point, in the actual in this actual process, I now need to implement a hey, here's an alert system for the tutorial that tells you what things you did, even if it's just basic text, so that you know what it is that you did and it's done. But yeah, as you can see, basically the way that Shoot Lantern works is relatively straightforward. Your character can move around in 4 directions. You hold down the space bar. You don't have to like mash it. You can just hold it, and you will fire shots repeatedly. Up here is indicated the spread, which is what pattern your bullets are firing in, and the shot. And sorry, and the shot, which is basically the firing speed and power put together. So you have, it's called normal up here, or no, it's called single. So basically, you have single, double, and triple spread, and you have normal shots, power shots, and speed shots. So single, double, triple only really is just being spreads. They just affect the pattern that your shots fire in, right? Whereas the shot type basically determines the firing rate and strength of the shot. So speed shots are much faster, but do about half damage. Power shots are slower, but do double. And normal shots, literally right in the middle, as far as that's concerned, right? In addition to those things, you have a spin ability. I know that the character doesn't actually spin, but again, my design aesthetic is you can worry about making it pretty later, make sure it conveys what it needs to convey first, right? So when you spin, you are temporarily invulnerable to enemy shots, and then you have a timer that you have to wait for it to fill up before you can spin again, right? So basically, you can use a well-timed spin to lay down a couple of shots, get out of the way of enemy fire, or like use a spin to get out of the way of some shots, throw a bomb at the bottom of the screen, and then clear out the current wave of enemies or however it is that you want to handle it, right? And functionally speaking, that is sort of like the very basics of how Shoot Lancer works. There's more complicated stuff than that hasn't been programmed yet, but the main point is, hey, this game needs to work in this way wherein XYZ things happen. So the thing I was mostly working on before in the weeks leading up to this was just like making sure movement works, making sure that we can like fire lasers and stuff, and all of those other kinds of things, right? That was my main focus. Now that that is mostly handled, I can take a minute, worry about like user interface stuff. It's not final user interface stuff, but by setting up at least the bare bones of um, what information belongs on there and how that goes, it makes it a lot easier for the rest of the design team to go like, oh, right, so this is how this is going to go down. So yeah, we made good progress today. This is actually this is excellent progress as far as I'm concerned. So I'm gonna go clock my stopping time now for I'm gonna go clock my stopping time for the spreadsheet that we have going because I need to sit down and update that like this week. So audio options submenu now active. Updated title screen. Updated title screen to use state machine stuff. Updated state machine with grandparent state functionality where it goes to state directly the current one in the current state machine, not the state that was just exited. Very important distinction. Actively affects the audio settings for the current session. Can navigate to options and into audio options state. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna sit down and comment out some of this code later, not now. So I need to put down to do. So do to do's comment code before moving on to next part. Because I have to put that in caps and remember to do that. I know y'all can't see it, but that's because I'm taking like these are like private session notes basically that I'm taking so I can like go upload them on the spreadsheet that we're using like track hours. Get basic task completion code inserted into tutorial. So players know which options to players know what they should indicates what they have finished. Okay, cool. Comment code for audio options, sub menu, etc. before moving on to the next part. Okay, cool. All right. So that is stream for tonight. We basically made it a little bit to time, give or take. I forget when the ads are going to come up, so I'm going to be moving my ass to try to get ahead of them before they show up, and we have to like wait out the timer while I'm trying to talk to y'all. I do talk about game design stuff on co-host sometimes. At some point, I will be updating a series I have going on there called How It Goes with Godot, sort of explaining some of the things I don't get into on stream about like the Godot learning process and where that has been going. I wrote a Legend of Legaia one that is currently available on co-host. If you go looking through some of my posts there, please read it. You can also check out Medium for some of the other ones that I've written before I decided to just make that like a full-time thing on co-host. Streambots, youtube.com/SJH Says Games. I update the playlist every couple of weeks with the stuff that we're doing. All the previous game dev streams that I've done for Shootlancer they have their own playlist. It's not currently updated, but I will probably within like next day or so. Ko-Fi, if you want to support the stream and support me, and don't want to give Amazon and Jeff Bezos money, just do a monthly sub at Ko-Fi, $5 a month. That just goes towards like handling incidentals for me, like groceries and what have you. If you do that, I keep like $4 and change out of that, as opposed to like $2.50 out of a Twitch sub. So never required, but if you want to support, I would prefer Ko-Fi. Throne has some other social media, That's my card. My card has other social media stuff on it, but my Throne has items that you can help contribute to, whether for silly things like Kamen Rider, accessory redemptions, or more work-related things like, hey, I want to get SJ a desk organizer for the wires that he has crawling down below his wires, or I want to help SJ get another monitor and a monitor arm to go with it, so he doesn't have to keep fumbling between windows to avoid showing like sensitive information on Twitch. And then, as Shark just put in there, we also have a Guilded. You can feel free to join that. We don't mess with Discord anymore because Discord does some stinky butt things without telling you, and it's kind of annoying. I am literally going to go look at the back room right now. So I was about to say yes, tell me, but then it's like, oh, I am literally flying toward it right now. Yeah, I know who we are going to go see. I think we've seen J-Rock relatively recently, so it's not going to be him. We're going to go to Silverstone Condor. They are currently playing Metal Hellsinger. They do a bunch of like variety themes and stuff. Like they've done Mario Kart in the past, Rhythm Heaven before. They're a really good Rhythm Heaven speedrunner, by the way. But yeah, be chill when we go hang out with them. Hit him with an SJH does raids. let him know who sent you, throw in your favorite emotes for them, hype them up, all that other kind of stuff. Stream schedule. Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Fighting Friday. Maybe Street Fighter 6, might be KOF, might be Strive. Don't know. Gonna feel it out. This upcoming Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. More Breath of Fire 3, part of the year Breath of Fire 3 that we're doing. It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna get a little wild, get a little loose. It'll be great. Thank y'all for coming to stream. Deeply appreciate it. Please stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask. Don't go outside if you have to. Really seriously wear like a mask. Numbers are up. And be excellent to each other, but not to bigots, racists, TERFs, sexists, anti-queer folks, Zionists, multi-level marketers, or companies that think you should get used to not owning your own freaking games that you pay for. I am not going to name names, but if you know, you know. Anyway, sorry, I don't know where that cough came from. But thank y'all for coming by. Deeply appreciate it. Till next time. Bye.